building a professional digital brand as a woman in science. And we have a facilitator already in the room. And so we'll set a few house rules to keep us coordinated throughout the program. So please, we encourage everyone to mute their microphones to avoid distractions. We also have the chat box. If you have any comments, questions during the presentation, you can please put them into the chat box. But after the presentation, there will be a question and response section where anybody who wants to, ask a question can indicate with the hand raise icon, and they will be called upon to speak. Otherwise, every other thing can go into the chat box. Looks like we have about 14 people online. Yes. So I'll run us through the program a bit. We'll have a brief welcome address about Niward from the President, Dr. Ebinimi Ansah, before we take the citation of the facilitator, that's Ms. Wambui Kuria from Kenya. And then we'll have a presentation, which will be followed by questions and responses, and then a closing remark by the Vice President of Niward, Dr. Ayoje Sutumi Abiodun Sholanke. So we don't want to take too much time to begin. We already said it's at 2 p.m. to stick to the time as much as possible. President, can we continue?
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Mojisola Karigidi. I'm just checking out the number of participants we have online. I don't know if we can send out word to encourage people to join. Today is a work day and people may be at work, but if they can take out just 1 hour to participate at this event, it may help us. So can we just give like 2 minutes for us to jointly do calls from where we are to encourage people to join? Thank you. And then by 14:05, we can start. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we'll have just about 2 more minutes. You can drop in the chat box your institution and where you're joining from, so that we can see who we have online. You can just put that in the chat box, what you hope to get from today's webinar, and then where you're joining from. Is it somewhere in Nigeria or outside Nigeria, which state in particular, so that we can get to familiarize with one another right in the chat box. Thank you. You're welcome, Dr. Eno. You're welcome. Mrs. Alice Mafe, you're welcome. We have Dr. Precious, welcome. We have Dr. Olufisayo from IIT Ibadan, you're welcome. Okay. So it's 2:05, and as mentioned by the President, we're going to begin. So I would like to invite the President of Niward, Dr. Ebinimi Ansah, for our opening remark. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mojisola. Thank you very much for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for the opportunity to
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, good evening, depending on where you are joining in from. Sorry, my network is not very stable, so I have my video closed, but I believe you can hear me clearly. Can someone confirm?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I wish to welcome all our participants to this webinar this afternoon. I also appreciate the presence of our guest speaker, Ms. Wambui Kuria. I also want to appreciate the Vice President of Niward and all the members of the executives here present. I haven't seen the founder yet, but I want to believe she could be online. I want to appreciate our founder, Professor Stella Williams. I also want to appreciate all the members of NIWARD and award fellows that are on this call and all our guests from everywhere. You are welcome to the webinar hosted by the Nigerian Women in Agricultural Research for Development, NIWARD. NIWARD is a professional association dedicated to empowering women scientists, and I want to say, and men too, researchers, academics, extension workers, professionals, practitioners, and farmers across the agricultural value chain in Nigeria. We have some strengths and we walk through mentorship, capacity building, leadership development, advocacy, networking, strategic partnerships to achieve our goal in fighting hunger and poverty in the sector. NIWARD promotes the visibility, advancement, and impact of women in agricultural research and innovation. As science increasingly moves into the digital space, NIWARD recognizes the importance of helping women scientists build strong professional brands that amplify their expertise, expand their influence, and create opportunities for collaboration, funding, leadership, and career growth. We are therefore delighted to host this webinar on building a professional digital brand as a woman in science, and to welcome our distinguished speaker, Ms. Wambui Kuria, who is the head of marketing at WABS Digital Kenya, who will be sharing practical insights on how women in science can strategically position themselves for visibility, credibility, and impact in the digital age. For more information about NIWARD and all our activities, please visit our website, www.niward.org.ng. And you can follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. We want to encourage all our guests to become members by subscribing through our website so they can enjoy the association's benefits. Admin, please share the membership link in the chat box. You can also share the website address and the links on Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. Finally, I would like to invite everyone to our upcoming 14th annual conference and general meeting, which will hold in Akure, Ondo State, Nigeria, this November. We would be delighted to welcome you there also. In the meantime, please enjoy this webinar you are warmly welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that beautiful welcome and remark about Niward, dear President, Dr. Ebinimi answer. So once again, we welcome everybody. And now we're moving to the next agenda, which is the citation of our guest speaker. So Wambui Kuria is the head of marketing at WABS Digital and a brand strategist for C-suite leaders, founders, coaches, and consultants. She helps experts launch and scale with clear offers, strategic positioning, content and client acquisition systems that drive visibility, impact, and income. With a background in biochemistry and molecular biology, Wambui began a career in research before spending. This experience shaped a strong foundation in systems thinking, precision, and problem solving. She has since transitioned into marketing, where for the past 4 years, she has applied this analytical approach to build structured, results-driven brand strategies. Wambui is also a vocal advocate for women's empowerment. She champions authenticity and the power of personal branding and believes education is the foundation for excellence in any field. Through our LinkedIn newsletter, A View from Africa, and our broader online platforms, she shares insights on digital work, health, and family, reaching over 20,000 subscribers and growing audience of 30,000 plus followers. Her voice has earned her recognition across podcasts, newspapers, and radio, positioning her as a thought leader, shaping conversations for modern African professionals. She strongly believes that in today's digital age, building a personal brand is no longer optional for any professional. Please welcome our guest facilitator who goes on with our presentation. You have the floor, Mrs. Wambui.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mojisola, for this invitation. Am I audible enough?
Yes, you are. I can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, I hope the light is not bad. Is it okay to just have my camera on?
It's okay. If your video will not affect your network.
Yeah, I was thinking probably it could affect the presentation. So let me just have it off to make sure that we don't have network issues.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so first, good afternoon, everybody. I think here in EAT, it's exactly for 4:14 p.m. So I think we just have a 2-hour difference. So I would like to first thank the Nigerian Women in Agricultural Research for Development for giving me this chance to speak to this wonderful community. I love what you're engaged in, being a community of women that are advancing in science, agriculture, research, and innovation across Africa. And I'm very excited to hold this forum because I have a strong belief that people in the technical space are the people who need this the most. I think everybody can attest to a time in their life when they did something great, but nobody got to know about it. I have a background in biochemistry and molecular biology like you had. And one of the things that I was really bad at is advocating for myself. As we start this forum, I want us to look at ourselves as women in science, and I want us to also look at ourselves in terms of the digital era that we find ourselves in. So we are going to be talking about building a professional brand as a woman in science. And my focus today is on from silent excellence to visible impact. Are you able to see my slides?
Yes, we can see. We can see your slides.
Okay, right. Thank you. So I always say this, your expertise is your foundation, but your visibility is your multiplier. It does not matter how great you are if you're the best kept secret. And that is the agenda for today's conversation. As you heard, I'm Wambui Kuria. I'm the head of marketing at WABS Digital Agency, and it's a long story that led me to the place that I am today. I did biochemistry and molecular biology. That is what I studied. I've worked in the research center, International Center of Insect and Physiology, ICIPE. If you have heard about it, that's where I did most of my internship and my first years of work in research. Then I joined the manufacturing sector for over 7 years, where I worked as a quality control and assurance person in the food industry, the hygiene industry, and even in the plastic industry. Then, as a mother, and as many of you will relate to, as many of you are going to relate to, I had to quit work due to motherhood. The journey to motherhood had its highs and downs, and I found myself in a situation now that I'm at home and I'm wondering, what do I do with my life? Because I want these children, yes, I want this family, but I still need to earn a source of income. So from a young age, I was always gifted in writing. In my high school days, in my university days, if there was anything that needed to be presented, they would say, Wambui, why don't you write that for us? I had a way with words. Then I heard there's a lot of content writing going on. So in my desire to earn income while I'm still at home, I learned about content writing. Then I started asking myself, why do they pay us this much to just write? Then I realized that in the digital space, everything you read is writing. Be it a video you watched, be it an article on the website that you saw, be whatever it is material that you are consuming, even this webinar that we are having right now, it is content that has been prepared to even invite people, like that graphic that was prepared, that is content. Then that's how I ventured into the world of marketing. I learned that marketing is simply words. And the most surprising thing for me was that I was extremely a very shy person prior to building my brand on LinkedIn, especially. The reason why I started with LinkedIn is because I don't know if any of you can relate, but I find LinkedIn is the less critical platform. Is that true for many of you? Maybe you can just show an emoji to agree. LinkedIn is the safest platform for us professionals, especially the introverted professionals. This is because TikTok, Instagram, and other social platforms can be very rude. People can be very rude. They can say very harsh words. And if you have not built a high level of self-awareness and self-acceptance, you can really struggle because the opinions of others will largely impact you. So today, I want us to talk about digital visibility and why it's so relevant, and especially for women. Because when I started building myself in the marketing space, I realized that women in whatever field of work they did, like a lot of women in science think, why do I need to be in the digital space? Why is this relevant for me? Yet I'm in the technical field, probably I'm just in the lab, but today the world has significantly changed. And if we do not change with it, we are definitely going to be left behind. And so I'll go straight at it, like talking about how many brilliant women remain invisible. They are really good at research work. They are very good at their research work. They have published a paper. They have written a great article, solved key problems in the society, but nobody knows. Nobody knows about it, about that particular thing that they have done. So being good at research does not automatically make people know your work. So people cannot collaborate with someone they have never heard of. They cannot fund research they have never discovered. And people cannot invite you to speak if they do not know you exist. For example, I'm in this forum because you could find me. So you have to also be visible to attract those opportunities that you want. And a strong digital brand helps you, for example, for people in science, attract grants, build collaborations, receive speaking invitations, become a recognized authority, influence policies, which is very important, grow your career and inspire future generations. And now when you talk about policy, how did I start talking on LinkedIn? Building my brand on LinkedIn was rather scary because I'm starting in the marketing space where there are people who went to the university to study marketing. So it means that I'm still shy, that I'm not an expert enough, that I may post something and somebody will wonder, Wambui, what's that you're talking about? I know better than you. When I started talking or posting on LinkedIn, I wasn't even talking about marketing. I was advocating for work-friendly policies for mothers because I realized I wasn't just the only person who had to quit their work because of motherhood challenges. And for me, considering that I did biochemistry, I understood so many factors that can affect a woman's life, from fertility issues, high-risk pregnancies, preterm children, children with special needs. That background in science had me have that hunger and that thirst to raise my voice around the same. And I remember at that particular time on LinkedIn, one of my posts where I talked about if work attendance is the only metric that we use to gauge the performance of our women, then it means we are going to leave out so many great women who are great performance just because they missed 2 days of the week to attend to a sick child, to go for a fertility clinic. So that particular post got me in the People Daily here locally. So can you see the power of you having a voice in the social space? Probably if I went through my experience and I never talked about it to someone else, I would not have reached where I reached. So through my personal branding on LinkedIn, which now I'm educating you that you as a whole, who are you as a person? Who are you as Alice? Who are you as Dr. Mojisola? There are things you stand up for. There are so many things that you believe in. How will we get to know them? If what project that you're working on, doing some research on these things about women, if you do not talk about it in the digital space, how else are you going to create the impact and the change that you seek? So that one is very, very important. Now have the wrong perception about the digital space. And this is something that now I need to demystify. People think that what is a digital brand? I don't know for you, I don't know if somebody would love maybe to just comment and tell us for them what they think a digital brand is. But for me, a digital brand, what people think of when your name. If you check your contacts today, your phone, do you know you have saved people according to the issue they solve? Probably John the plumber or Alice the saloonist. Why? When you think about a certain problem or a certain desire that you have, there is already a brand in mind for that particular service or that particular product. So most people think that branding is the logos, it is the number of followers, it is it's the aesthetics. All those are quite relevant, but they only become relevant if there is perfect positioning. When you think about, for example, these particular organizations, like the Nigerian Women in Agricultural Research for Development, they are thinking about a certain problem in society that they want to be known for because they have a solution. So you address a particular challenge in the society and you position yourself as people who provide a solution to that. Or it could be, it's not a problem in society, it's a desire. Maybe people they don't want to age, they want to remain young. So this cosmetic brand has positioned itself for youthful glow and they have positioned their product selling a desire of youthfulness. So when you think of youthfulness, that company comes to mind. So what about us women professionals in science? There's a lot that you're doing. Is it the study of sesefly? Is it, for example, how in the African sector we can be able to maybe make sure that our food does not go to waste? Because in Africa, a lot of people make a lot of food, but it goes to waste. The same Africans struggle with hunger. It's a key problem in Africa that there is massive production of food, but there's massive waste of food. So how will you attract grants if you are not vocal about that problem that is there and how you have a possible solution? So those are the things that we talk about when we talk about personal branding. So it is your expertise. It is your reputation. It is your credibility, your consistency, and your professional identity. Your brand is the story people tell about you when you are not in the room. What do they say? What is it that they say when you're not in the room? Can people think about a certain issue they have and you're the first person that comes to mind? That is what we are talking about today. The biggest mistake scientists make. Many scientists believe, and not just scientists, many people in the technical field, I will let my work speak for itself. But unfortunately, the internet and the world we are in today rewards visible expertise, not hidden expertise. And the funny thing, you will always see people complaining, that person is not even all that. Why did she get that opportunity? But you see, you the silent one who is very good at your thing are quiet. So the world will reward even that person who is not even good enough just because they know them. They are aware that this person exists. For a lot of people who are really good at their stuff, they have the perception that, but my work will speak for itself. And this is not just, it starts at work. You keep thinking that my boss will see I did this and that, but you do not document your wins. You do not document last quarter. This is what problems we faced, and this was the solution that I presented for the company. Then when promotion comes, you complain, but why was so and so promoted? Because he was very vocal about his wins. He was also very vocal that he would love a senior position. Well, you, and I'll talk about it in the rest of the slides, thought that this is humility. Let me be quiet and someone is going to spot me. And it is also influenced by our African upbringing. It plays a very major role in that. If nobody knows your work, someone else qualified may become the recognized expert simply because they are more visible. Knowledge creates impact only when it's communicated. So the silent excellence trap is a big thing. It is one of the biggest barriers to building a personal brand. It isn't technology. It is mindset. And this is where women are mostly affected. And we see this even in our homes. And I'll give you an example. When we were growing up, I come from a family of one sister and two brothers. My brother was always very vocal. We could go somewhere, he gets a chance to speak, he talks to a group of people. And by then, I used to think, why is he praising himself this much? Why is he talking this much? And I would go home thinking, I could have said better. I could have presented something better. But did I? Did I present? Did I speak? So when I grew up, I started appreciating that there was nothing wrong with him. Back then, it looked like pride to me because I had the perception that humility is hiding your strength, is not advocating for yourself. And that's the elephant in the room. So as women, we quietly keep everything running. We organize, we solve problems, we sacrifice, yet rarely do we stop and say, I did that. We are so scared to even do that. And you will find it in that. Like, for example, we tell that Dr. Mojisola, that project you did was very great. And he says, I tried. No, you did try. Say thank you. It was good. Say thank you. But women will downplay their achievements. But men, for example, will admit, thank you. I worked on that project overnight. But women will downplay their success. They will not be able to admit that they really did something worth of praise. So they try to work harder, stay late, deliver results, help everybody succeed. And then the problem is not even that they do all these things silently. Deep down, they think they are good people, they are humble, but they still desire to be recognized. Because when that recognition doesn't come, they are bitter. So it means that they were still looking to be validated and they were still looking to be recognized. So why don't you separate humility in terms of you do not think that you are better than everybody else, but it does not mean that you hide your strength or your expertise. I think that's very important when we are talking about personal branding, because the number one barrier to personal branding among professionals is thinking they are bragging when they advocate for themselves. That mindset shift is number one reason why you could walk out of this webinar a different person. That you're not saying that I'm the only person who can do this. I'm not the best scientist there is. You are open to knowledge, but this project, this research, I was able to find this medical treatment to so and so. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging you do know something. So the African myth about personal branding, for many professionals, they believe if I talk about my achievements, people will think I'm proud. Or I don't want to look like I'm showing off. So they stay quiet. People with half our experience confidently share their work and become recognized experts. The question is the problem visibility? So you need to ask yourself, for example, is it visibility? Is the problem visibility, or is it that you're shy or you're fearing to share your thoughts and your opinion in the name of humility? Because that's the enemy in the room. Humility does not mean hiding. Many of us were raised to believe humility means making ourselves smaller. I'm sure most of you can relate to that. We think that because I did not air my opinions, I'm a humble person. I let someone else blow the trumpet for me. But in the digital space, now that creates a contradiction. At work, probably somebody could say, so and so is really great, let's assign him this and that. But in the LinkedIn space, in the Instagram space, there are people who don't know Wambui. They will only learn about Wambui through Wambui's post. You see? So if I don't talk about digital marketing, what I can do for other professionals, what I can do for other companies, the wins that I generated for company A, B, C, D, then another company will not have the confidence to hire me and give me that particular task. So many of us were raised to believe humility means making ourselves smaller, but true humility isn't pretending you have no strength. Humility means knowing your strengths without believing you are better than others, sharing your gifts without seeking superiority, giving credit where it's due, remaining teachable no matter how experienced you become. Humility is not hiding your expertise. Humility is using your expertise to serve others. There's a difference between saying, I'm the best scientist in Kenya. That one is ego. And versus, I am passionate about climate smart agriculture and my research has helped improve farming practices in several communities. That is impact. And that's the major difference between the two of them. So visibility is service. That's one thing you need to realize about that. At the beginning, even for me, I was feeling, no, I'm too loud. I felt loud, actually. I felt I was being too loud and I'm not used to it because I'm a very quiet person. I'm a very reserved person. So I felt I'm being loud. So visibility is service. When your work improves lives, sharing isn't boasting. It is responsibility. If your research helps farmers, shouldn't farmers know about it? If your research improves maternal health, shouldn't mothers benefit? If your research influences policy, shouldn't policymakers hear about it? So the truth we need to carry is that your knowledge was never meant to stay inside your laptop or the lab. It was meant to create impact in the world. So why build a digital brand? Your digital brand isn't about becoming famous. Now, here is where I want us to also demystify this, because it's a major issue that people have. People believe that now to build in the digital space, people have this perception that you need to become an influencer in terms of sharing your personal life, every little thing that you're doing, the food you ate, where you are hanging out. And I think besides thinking that not talking about yourself is humility, the number one culprit is thinking you need to become like the lifestyle influencers. Let's call them lifestyle influencers, because if, for example, Dr. Mojisola, you build your brand and we really know you, we know you for thought leadership. There's a certain problem in the field of science that when we think about it, you are the person we think about. You see? But a lifestyle influencer is a person who shares their personal life, their children, their husband, everything they ate. Those are the people who make the scientists and the other professionals think that social media is bad for them. You will even hear them say, but me, Wambui, I'm a quiet and very private person. If you go to all my socials, you will never see my children. You will never see my husband. You will just see me talking about me, my beliefs, my values, and digital marketing. So if your excuse today is that you are a private person, you choose what to post in your socials. And you're posting in your socials with a goal to build thought leadership. That when people think about certain issues or certain matters, you are the go-to person. So it's not about becoming famous. It's about becoming discoverable by the right people for the right opportunities. So if that has been what has been holding you back, you need to change that. So your goals today wouldn't be the same 5 years from now. Your brand should evolve as your career evolves. So you need to ask yourself, what opportunity do I want my digital brand to attract? You see, we said that for women in science, you do not want to go there to share your personal life or to become famous, because those people who want to do that want to become, for example, paid by other companies to become brand ambassadors. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing for someone who is okay doing that. But the reason most of people in science, why they are not building their brand, they think they need to become famous, and fame scares them. You need to be known by a certain group of people struggling with certain issues in life so that you sell those solutions for them. So that is very important. So in terms of building your brand, there are different stages of building your brand. Let me widen this so that it's way. There are different, I usually say the reason social media is very overwhelming for people is because people have not discovered their why. The reason a founder in science, for example, the founder of this Niward community, could be on social media is very different from a graduate in science who has just left university. They have very different goals in the social media space. The goals that they have are quite different. For the student in their early career, why are they building their personal brand? They are building their personal brand because they want to land their first opportunities. Maybe they want internships, their first job. Maybe they want to get mentors. By then, my first opportunity on LinkedIn was through a mentor. He posted you'd like to mentor somebody in Africa in the area of digital marketing. I applied and I got a role through that. That was my first international role, working 2 hours for SEMrush. SEMrush is a digital marketing company that a lot of SEO is through that company. So that was my first digital opportunities that came. I did not apply. The person came to me. So it started with a mentorship. So that is what I'm saying. Maybe you are starting in science. You have just graduated. Where do you go next? Today, people usually say that there are no jobs. And let me say, I'm not saying that that all the people who are struggling with jobs is something they're doing wrong. But I can assure you that I work with so many HRs, I work with so many founders who go through so many CVs and still don't find the right talent. And I find people who don't apply, who are choosing between 2 jobs. Why? Because they are vocal. People can see them in the digital space. Today, if a CEO is looking through 100 CVs, over 5 people on LinkedIn, he's choosing among the 5 because they also don't have time. Then the CV is limiting. I may not know Wambui so well through her CV like I would through her LinkedIn socials, her social media pages. So I may not know her in a better light like I would in other areas. So for mid-level professional, they want career growth. So they are looking for promotions. Maybe the next opportunity, they will find it through their socials. So they want to become the go-to expert, attract speaking invitations, leadership roles, and professional authority. So the strategy these 2 people are going to apply and the kind of post they are going to push are very different. Then there are those senior research leaders. These people are looking for influence. They want to be chosen in boards. They want to become boards of directors. They want to invite international collaborations. They want professional legacy. So these people have jobs. They may even be having very well-paying job, but they want to create impact. This is what I talked about. They want to be chosen as boards of directors in different organizations or different forums. So they may not be like this person who is starting out and they are looking for a job or they're looking to be promoted. No, they want to serve in other categories and other organizations where they feel that I stand up for this policy. This organization, so and so, also stands up for this policy. I would love them to support me. So even their post will be very different from somebody who is just beginning. Then, like I said, they are the founders and the CEOs, business growth, clients, partnerships, investors, grants. These are the people they are seeking. Like if you have a research center and maybe there are different forms of products or services that it provides. As a founder, you want people to really have credibility in your organization. And so for you, you're posting to attract the right clients, the right partners, the right investors. That is what you're looking to achieve. But for founders, they could also be looking, I want to be someone people look after. So when they are recruiting or when they are hiring, if I already know this founder speaks his vision, his values, I'm already admiring working with him. So through his personal brand, he attracts the best talents because already somebody is thinking I should be working for this organization. Because they have seen the CEOs, they have seen what they have been posting and all that. Then there is also the research scholar. Maybe they want to have research impact. Their publications, they want to be in ResearchGate. They want more people to know their work and their work that they are doing behind the scenes. So a lot of people have not paused to ask myself, what is my reason for being on social media? What is my main reason for being in this platform? Because now when you answer these questions, it even influences which social media platforms that you're supposed to be on. So the goal isn't followers. The goal is opportunities. Every post should answer one question. What opportunity do I want this content to attract? For example, for the student, the first job, they want to demonstrate they have potential. For the early professional, career growth, they want to showcase expertise. The mid-level, they want promotion, so they want to build authority. The senior leader, they want influence, so they are building thought leadership. The researcher, they want grants and collaboration, so they want research visibility. For the founder and the CEOs, they want clients and funding. So what are they looking for? Trust and credibility in their ideas. So why women in science need personal branding? Women often, like I said, underestimate themselves, wait until they are ready. This is a big one. There's someone who said if a man knows that there's even a 10% chance they could get a grant, a job, a promotion, they will apply. Even knowing that they only tick the boxes 10%. Women, if there is 10% chance that makes them not fit for that role, they will not apply. So they self-sabotage themselves. So we need to challenge ourselves that we need more women in the science field, being more vocal, and also to inspire the next generation so that they believe in that particular field. So most also avoid posting because of fear of criticism. And I keep saying that had I not built my brand, I would not have discovered who I really am. Because before building my brand, I was very careful of what people say about me. So I was worried, oh, what did so and so say about me? What did they why did they say that? I would focus so much time on what someone said to me. But when I started building my brand, and of course not everybody will agree with you, I learned that I am not supposed to be affected by everything. In fact, when I built my brand, and now I look back in my life, like my journey with the struggles with infertility and all that, back then, I thought others hurt me. But now I can tell you with so much confidence, I allowed others to hurt me. If today I call you a dog, and for sure you know you're not a dog, you will not even waste a minute proving to me you are not a dog. You will ignore it. So if somebody says some words to you and you spend a week thinking about you, you should not focus on that person who said those words. You should look within why you believe it. We only get affected by people's words because we believe it ourselves. So if you believe you are a failure and someone mentions that, you feel terrible. If you know you're not a failure, even if another person says that you are a failure, you don't need to prove yourself. So you don't get affected by that. So building your digital visibility, like I said, it has a lot to do with mindset than even the post. What is your why? Why are you there? Why do you believe that you need to share your kids and your family? Why do you believe that social media will affect your privacy? You choose what to show. Then why do you believe that you can't handle critics? Even at work, not everybody will agree with you. Then you also need to know that not everybody who disagrees with you hates you. It's okay to welcome variant opinions. It teaches you a lot of emotional intelligence. If somebody says something negative on your post, are you rushing to comment and defend yourself? Can you manage your emotions? So for me, building your personal brand doesn't grow your career or business, but it also grows you as an individual. And if there's something I vlog about in my newsletter on LinkedIn, Have You From Africa, is that personal development precedes professional development. You will only grow in your career or in your business as far as you have grown as an individual. So if you have not addressed those things that affect you individually, you will not be able to grow that business. If you're a founder growing that business and you struggle with feedback, it means that if your employee corrects you, it will be an issue of ego. It will not be an issue of what is the right thing. I know that employee is I'm in a higher position than them, but whatever they said was accurate. So you're not able to look at the bigger picture because your personal issues are coming in the way. So our career and business growth is highly influenced by our personal development. And when we start our personal branding journey, we will not just attract high-end opportunities. We will also discover how much we have grown as individuals. So branding isn't showing off. Branding is making your work accessible to the people who actually need it. And building your brand uses an ABCD framework, whereby A is authority. Like you should publish your research, share conference insights, write articles, teach, and B is for building relationships. A lot of people post, but they don't network. Who should you engage with online? Network intentionally. I see people, most professionals say, I don't need to be on LinkedIn. I don't need to be vocal. Then immediately that they are looking for an opportunity, they come to DM, can you help me do this and that? The best time to build genuine friendship and genuine connections is when you need nothing in return. It compounds. You have to deposit. A lot of people want to just cash in. They want to take away something that they haven't deposited into. If you go into somebody's LinkedIn connection and you want to take before you give, and it's because you are in a desperate situation, before you are saying, I don't need personal branding. You see, you say you don't need personal branding, then a situation comes and you really need that opportunity. Now see, you didn't build the network. You need to remember that givers in life get more than the takers. That is just how it is. You need to nurture those relationships, connect with people, build those connections with others, support others. If somebody has just been promoted, say congratulations, then go to their inbox, tell them congratulations. I just saw that you got this role. Would love to hear more about your journey. Find out how they got to where they are. Have curiosity to interact with people without wanting anything in return. Like, for example, let me give you an example. Right now, I'm the real estate marketing manager for a real estate company here called Mayan Luxury Homes. In 2022 is when I formed my women's community, where I was helping stay-at-home moms bounce back in their careers. A lady reached out to me on LinkedIn and told me she wants to join my mentorship, and I took her through that. That lady got a sales rep job at Mayan Homes. 5 years later, the company felt their marketing was not going according to how they want. So they needed a marketing manager. All Rachel did was to call Wambui. Wambui, I've been seeing what the growth you have had over the years. We need a marketing manager. Can you come meet our directors? I went, presented, and got the job. And now, not as Wambui, but as WABS, my agency. How many years of that? 2022, and we are in 2026. Suppose I left and said, this thing is not working because the other thing is lack of patience. People want to reap the same day they plant. That's the thing. People want to harvest. And so some keep uprooting. You know, when you harvest something as seed, you have to wait for it to, you put the fertilizer, you put everything, you have to wait for it to sprout and even for it to have the seed and then have the fruits. But people lack that patience. People do not want to. They want to get something before they give. And that's the struggle many even business owners are struggling with. Somebody wants a job from the university. Like I meet so many, for example, web developers. Someone tells me, Wambui, I'm a great web developer, bring me in your organization. And I'm so surprised that that person has no website of their own because they do not want to pay for the hosting. They consider it a waste. So they do not invest in themselves. Even the Bible itself says, to he who has, more shall be given. So if you're not investing in your own growth, there is no tool like an AI tool. You just want the free AI tools. You have never tested any other tool because you think, oh, there's no free one. You just want all the free ones. How will you discover what the paid one has? You see? So those are the things we are talking about in terms of our growth. So you need also to look in a certain way. For example, if you are looking to be the board of directors somewhere, your profile is the first thing I judge. I usually say, Mark Zuckerberg can walk in a t-shirt. His name has already superseded him. But for you, you can't. If you don't have a name, you need to look the part. You're not Mark Zuckerberg. You're not Elon Musk. He can wear anything. And I love seeing those posts on LinkedIn when people say, so-and-so is just in t-shirt and he has a lot of money, yet he's so humble. No. He has a brand. He has a name that walks in the room before him. So for you, you need to look the part. Have a professional headshot. Have an optimized LinkedIn. And if possible, if you're a scholar, a researcher, or a what, have a personal website. I discovered how to create websites when I needed. Now, after discovering writing, I was wondering now, who will give me an opportunity to write blogs for them so that I can showcase I know how to write. So I had to do my own blog first. And because I didn't have funds, I had to go to YouTube and learn how to do a website. That is how I mastered the skill of website design. Because of curiosity. So you have to be eager to learn. And even for me, when I am onboarding or recruiting for my team, one of the things that I've found very difficult to teach is curiosity. Sometimes it's either there or not. Are you downloading things you see online to just see what people have? Are you curious to know how did they do it? If that ad is doing well, did you check the CTA? What was it? Curiosity is just underrated. It's one of the underrated skill sets that you can find in your employees. And you, as a person who wants to grow in your career, it's something you need to have. Have that curiosity, develop something and present to the board, and people are, wow, how did you discover that? Those are the things that nobody is going to come and handhold you on. So those ones are usually very important. Then consistency. This one is very hard for many people. That's why the gym is full in January, but by Feb, everybody has dropped out. Starting something, and if you can relate, when we were in our high school days or even in the university and a public speaker is invited, you get psyched up. Like, for example, after this webinar, there are those people who will be they will be, wow, whatever Wambui talked about, I'm going to do it. And they start with so much intensity, but it never lasts. Consistency, I actually say, I would rather you tell me that you're going to be posting 2 times a week than tell me you'll post 5 days a week because of the intensity you feel right now. And then after 2 weeks, you stop. So consistency is also evaluating what works for you. What is it that can work for you? Will you be able to show up? Do you need to start with just optimizing your pages? Do you need to start with just engaging with other people's posts or things like that? So consistency is the harder one. I keep saying, if I started my LinkedIn and then I post it, I would not have arrived to the impact that I have now. And I usually say that the beauty of a digital presence is that you attract opportunities versus chase them. When you build a digital brand, it's people coming to you. But if you don't build your brand, it's you chasing people, submitting the applications, reaching out to so-and-so. It is the harder way. And one day that personal brand compounds and it's you choosing, okay, I'm not going to take this opportunity. It doesn't favor me. I won't go here. It doesn't favor me, and things like that. So consistency is the harder part. But if you look in the long-term goal, it works for you. Then you need to ask, you've already asked yourself, okay, I will solve my mindset issues. Wambui has said, this is not bragging. This is just about telling the world what I'm gifted in. You have decided that I am going to work in my inner me. I'm not going to be concerned about the opinions of others. Then I've already decided what stage I'm in my journey. So I'm going to build my brand because I'm a founder, a beginner, or whatever level of professionalism that you're in. So now you decide, because based on my goal, where do I want to start? The platforms that matter. So you need to build a digital presence where your audience actually spends time. Like, for example, I usually say you could be a scientist who is also very gifted in singing. So besides LinkedIn, why not be on TikTok? As you talk about research, you're also singing to us. You're showing us you can play the guitar. I usually say there is a lot in me and stable network. I hope you're able to hear me. Kindly tell me if you're not able to hear me. So I usually say the reason an eagle picks a fish and then flies up in the sky to consume the fish in the air, because the fish is operating in its genius zone. The eagle is operating in its genius zone. If it tries eating the fish in the water, the fish will win. Because the fish is in its genius zone, it will swim. But the fish stands no chance in the air. Now, in personal branding, I see people trying to be so and so. If you discover naturally, there is something that is in us that God gave. It's a God-given gift in all of us. Probably you have a stage presence. You speak very well. So even if you're a woman in science, but there's something to your voice. So even if there's another researcher in your field of work, I'm choosing you because of your eloquence. You have a way with words. So what do? You decide that me, I'm not like Wambui who writes a lot. It's not my area of genius zone. I'll be doing videos. Because when people listen to me, they stop. There's always someone in your family who you choose when there's an event. So and so come introduce our family. Why? They have a natural gift of speaking to others. So even in personal branding, besides your area, like for example, you're in agriculture, maybe probably you're in molecular biology or in what, there is also another gift about you as an individual. And this one is your unique value proposition. If I'm looking at, like for example, and that's why I said when I share online, I share digital marketing, my values and beliefs. Why? Because there's still someone who will choose me for my beliefs which align with theirs. Because it could be, let me give you an example. You could have two website designers. Exactly the same. Let's say Wambui is designing websites. There's also another person designing websites. But there's someone who will think, wow, she's a mother like me. I love the way she talks about motherhood and the things we should do with our families and all that. What will she do? We are charging the same. So what's the differentiator? Our values and our beliefs. So besides your technicality, you need to show people what do you stand up for in your socials. What are your values? What is it that I keep saying that thing is the God-given gift? And also, what if money was never an issue? You are not doing this to grow your career. You're not doing this for what? You have all the resources in the world and money is not a factor. What would you be doing? What message would you be telling the world? That is your third thing in your personal branding. That is a thing that makes me resonate with so and so more than so and so. And you attract, you are kind. Yeah, so yeah, I know time is not on our end, but I think that's the main things that I really wanted to talk about. So we will build up on this more, and I'll be able to share even this presentation so that if you have many more questions, you can be able to ask. Here we have, I'll share the presentations with our facilitator so that you can go through that. So the content ideas for women scientists, they are there that you can go about, and even the power of storytelling, how AI can help you, because now we are in the era of AI, and the common branding mistakes that you should be looking out, and even the pathway that I walked from a scientist to what I'm currently doing. There is also an action plan that you can take for today to start your journey in building your brand. So I'll wrap up with your expertise is valuable, your voice matters, your research deserves visibility. Don't wait until you're famous before sharing your knowledge. Build your digital brand today so opportunities can find you tomorrow. Thank you so much, Dr. Mojisola. I hope I haven't gone way past my time. I can talk.
Thank you so much for this very insightful presentation. Thank you so much. We're already clapping from here. So participants can also drop the clap emoji to appreciate Ms. Wambui Kuria for this really insightful presentation. You know, visibility is service. Now we understand that it's just about becoming discoverable. It's not for us to become famous. So we have some questions in the chat box. I'll quickly read that out. If you also have questions to ask our facilitator, please raise your hand in case you've not dropped any question in the chat box. So here we have the first question from Dr. Ayojesu Tomi. She says, thank you for the insightful presentation. Please, can you suggest simple and affordable tips or tools available to researchers to share their output? Are there tools or tips that can help researchers share their output? Thank you.
Come again. I think my network misbehaved.
Okay, so can you hear me now?
Yes.
He says, please, can you suggest simple and affordable tips or tools available to researchers to share their outputs?
Okay, I would say, for example, I would say a lot of, there's one AI tool that I would really recommend for anybody, especially in the research field now that you're doing a lot of reports and you don't want to spend all your time doing that, GenSpark and Cloud. I don't know if you're familiar already with them. There's already, GenSpark is a paid tool, but it's the subscription is very low compared to the returns. You can do all your presentations. You can do all your research. Like, for example, if you compile those technical reports that you have, it will analyze for you into tables and columns. Actually, GenSpark is what prepared my presentation. I just feeded it all the information that I have, and it prepared the presentation that I gave today.
Oh, great.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you. There's another question here. Actually, it's my question, so I'm thinking some people may also want to ask. Since the goal is not really about followers or getting likes or becoming famous, so how can one know that people are actually looking at the content we are posting as scientists? You know, sometimes when you post, because most of our content are not funny content and they are not as dramatic as some of this other content. So how are there tools that one can use to monitor how people are interacting apart from the likes and the followers? Are there tools like that?
Yeah, number one, you need to know their impressions. Other than likes, you can be able to see the impressions in terms of if people have actually viewed that type of content. And actually, let me surprise you. All of my clients have never liked or engaged with my posts. It is the likers that buy. That is the most, and they buy from the most boring content. When you're creating content, you should balance educational, inspirational, and entertaining. I usually say in the field of science, you don't want to entertain too much because you want thought leadership. So you want to balance inspirational and educational content. Inspirational content is around your vision, mission, and the values, like, for example, this organization stands for. So I don't expect that all the content that you push on your social media page, for example, for this organization, to be purely technical. Also, educate us about your impact, storytelling your content. A lot of people in the technical field don't know how to speak without jargon words. A tool a platform I would recommend for learning how to write is SEMrush and HubSpot. Their courses are free. So they teach you how to communicate in simple language. I'll give an example. If you go to the doctor, they will not say that, they will just say cancer. They will not start saying carcinoma. So when you're communicating in the digital space, drop the jargon words.
Thank you. Thank you so much. If there are no other questions, yes, I can see that the GenSpark and Cloud have already been dropped in the chat box. Thank you. Okay, so we'll go to the last segment of our program, and that's the closing remark. We'll be having that from the Vice President of the Nigerian Women in Agricultural Research for Development. Please, if you're not a member, find in the chat box the link to join the membership of Niward, so that you can also benefit from several other webinars as well as our forthcoming conference. So Dr. Ayojesu Tomi Abiodun-Sholanke, can you please give us the closing remark? Thank you.
Thank you, our wonderful Pablo. And I would like to also appreciate our speaker for today. And I also appreciate every one of us that have taken out time to be a part of this discussion. I believe we must have learned one or two things from this discussion, from this webinar today. So as we bring this webinar to a close, I would like to express a heartfelt appreciation to our exceptional speaker, Ms. Wambui Kuria. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I should have mastered the pronunciation of your name, but I hope I didn't murder it. Thank you for sharing practical, inspiring, and actionable strategies on how to build a professional digital brand. Your presentation reminded us that in today's digital age, excellence alone is not enough. Our expertise must be visible, our expertise must be authentic, and our expertise must, for it to be impactful, these things need to be communicated. I would also like to appreciate our wonderful moderator for, for moderating and facilitating the webinar today very well. Thank you so much. So some of the things we're able to learn from today's webinar is that, is about building our credibility, creating opportunities, influencing policy, attracting collaboration, securing research funding, mentoring the next generation, and ensuring that African women scientists, not even women scientists alone, but we know that most of the men, most of the roles and the outputs of our men, they are more visible than for us as women scientists. So we need to know that for all these invisible roles to be known, there's need for us to communicate. There's need for us to communicate our output. And another thing I've also seen before, the speaker also mentioned it, that maybe it's African. Some of these are little outputs that we are engaged with. They, most often than not, they are researchers who communicate research outside Africa. Please, I would like to implore and encourage every one of us. This is now the communicate whatever we are put, that people that are seeking for before any of us, you are yet serious with what you are doing, or you have not really